Healthy aging, that is all the buzz these days. Where do you stack up when it comes to aging gracefully and reversing the aging process? Well, today in this video, I've got my good friend Dave Nicholas right here, who's not 40, he's not 50, he's not 60, he's not even 70, he is 72 years old. And to me, he is a bill of health, and he is what I aspire to be when I become 72 years old. I'm currently 52, and I'm just getting warmed up. We are going to be addressing what Dave's routine has been over the years, how he has stayed fit, what he does to improve his health as he ages, and try to reverse the hands of time. And we're also going to talk about his key supplements that he takes every day and this amazing shake that he takes every single day. But before we get to that, make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Okay, what I often talk about is kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I've said that many times before. I bounce around a lot and I jump around a lot because I have squirrels running around my head because I'm highly energized. If you didn't notice by now, watching all my videos. I'm wearing my weighted vest because Jen, my significant other, and I are going for a hike in a couple weeks for our anniversary over in Lake Tahoe. Have you ever been in Lake Tahoe?
No.
Incline Village, actually, but it's near Lake Tahoe. Dave, what did you do for your workout this morning? I'm going to work in reverse order. Again, like a Quentin Tarantino film. First things first, I want to know what you did at the gym this morning.
Well, first of all, Kevin, I got up at 4:30 this morning. I spent an hour and a half doing stretching at home and some core work before I went to the gym.
I hate to interrupt you, but I have to stop right now and interrupt you already. What? Do you always get up at 4:30 a.m.?
Yes.
That's phenomenal. Do you consider getting up early in the morning a biohack? Do you feel that's like a beneficial thing for reversing the aging process and for you to be in the shape that you're in these days?
You know, quite frankly, getting up early in the morning is very like Zen-like.
It's therapeutic.
It's very therapeutic. Nobody's up. It's quiet. I get to go down. I have a whole stretching routine that takes about an hour to an hour and a half. I mix it up, it's important for me to be warmed up before I go to the gym. And I find out for me, physically, stuff that I've learned over, my years of life is if I do my stretches in the morning, it cuts down on the risk of a potential injury later on in the day.
That makes so much sense.
So like anybody, my age, I've had shoulder surgery, knee surgery, back surgery, and a lot of the stretching routines that I have incorporated into my life, I've learned at physical therapy and also stuff that you taught me.
Yeah.
And, if there's many things that are sacrosanct for me when it comes to working out and nutrition. My morning stretching routine, if there's one thing I do a day, it's that stretching.
So do you feel that your stretching routine is a huge integral part of aging gracefully and or reversing the aging process along the way?
Because I do it all the time, I don't have anything else to compare it to. But I believe that for all of us, between stretching, between regular exercise and nutrition, we have an opportunity to live a long, healthy life. There's always going to be the randomness of life. We can't control that. Yeah. But the things we can control, if we do control them, as it relates to our healthiness, we can, I'll use your term, Kevin, we can do biohacking. And I want to live a long, healthy life. And to do that, stretching, exercise, and nutrition are the three pillars of that.
Okay, that's great. That's a very good way of putting it, the three pillars. So you kind of answered a question I had, which is if you had 3 to 5 specific non-negotiables that you want to tell the people out there they need to do to age gracefully, regardless if you're 40 or 50 or 60 along the food chain, what would they be? So you pretty much hit it all in the head. You said stretching, you said exercise, you said diet. Yeah,
and there's one little thing I'll add to that, to your viewers. The scale doesn't lie. And
sadly, no, it doesn't.
So I'm not a fanatic. I weigh myself every day. I'm fortunate by nature. I'm an ectomorph. So I'm generally speaking a tall, thin guy. But you know what? That only buys you so much. And as we get older, if we don't stay active, our body is kind of designed to wear us down because we're not contributing to the sustainability of the herd anymore. And I want to be as active, as fit as possible. So I'm sending a message to my primordial soup that I'm an integral part of contributing to the success of the herd. So, all these things have to work together. If you listen to Kevin and you follow his routine and his advice, you too can live a long and healthy life. And it doesn't matter if you haven't been exercising regularly or you're just starting it. I've worked with a lot of trainers over the years. For me, Kevin is the best I've ever worked with by far and away.
Appreciate that.
And Kevin's motto, which I really happen to like, and it's important for folks like myself who have gotten older, less is more. And I've learned so much from Kevin as it relates to not only stretching, exercise, and also nutrition. I, attribute his influence on my life over the last 10 years.
Oh, more than that.
And
almost 20 now.
20 years.
2006 we met. It's a long time ago.
Over 20 years has made a world of difference in my physical fitness and overall health.
Well, I really appreciate those kind words, Dave. I have a question specifically about exercise now. Let's shift gears. Tell me what you feel are some key tenets of how you should structure your workouts from a strength training perspective and or cardio perspective as you age. Because I get this question all the time. I see all kinds of things spinning around and people are saying, oh yeah, when you're over 40, over 50, you absolutely have to do strength training. You have to do heavy weights. You have to do deadlifts. You have to do bench press. You have to be able to squat your body weight. Your VO2 needs to be 45 or more. I think personally that is overrated. That is all BS. And I have a very particular way that I look at things when it comes to fitness. And you people that have watched my channel, you kind of know where my exercises lie. And I'm very functional oriented. I'm very three-dimensional oriented. But in your world, in your terms, in your thoughts, what do you feel what kind of advice can you give people out there that are looking to age gracefully from a strictly exercise perspective? What are some key things that you do, and what would you suggest other people do as well?
Look, for all of you out there that exercise, you know your bodies. And I can't emphasize enough, know your body, know what, know your guardrails. If you do too much of one thing, you lift too heavy, you're going to injure yourself. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. And if you do too little, you're not going to get the results. And every day it's figuring out, okay, how does my body feel? What can I do? And diversity in how you approach things. I try to mix it up every day. So 2 days a week, I'll do some weight training. I do cardio every day, whether it's, swimming a couple thousand yards in the pool, going for a hike, going for a walk, riding a spin bike. That's really what it's all about. Also, so you don't get bored.
I was going to say, they all sound like activities you enjoy doing.
I enjoy.
And that should be primary. That should be number one, actually. Find out what you like and what you enjoy, and don't force yourself to do, the Airdyne bike, which I love, if it doesn't resonate with you. Don't force yourself to run on the curved treadmill because it's pneumatic and you control the speed and everything at your own pace because you saw me running sprints on it. Do something that works with you. And, a lot of those things you mentioned are low impact. And I know you've had issues with your knees and stuff in the past too. So, biking and swimming, that's all very low impact. Hiking is even low impact, and walking is too, on hills especially. Find something that you like, that resonates with you, and just do it on a regular basis, right? Consistency.
Absolutely. Diversity. You have to do what you like, and you got to mix it up. If you do too much of one thing, whether it's weights, running, hiking, or, biking, it doesn't matter. Too much of anything, you're going to get in the danger zone from an injury standpoint. As long as you keep it mixed up every day, every week, and you do it consistently, you're going to be fine. That's what I've learned over, my time of working out. And I will say this, I started running when I was 12 years old. Wow. And I have worked out consistently for the last 50 years.
That's impressive. That's unbelievable. Do you feel there was a time where you went many, many days in a row without missing a day of exercise? Because as you know, I have the streak going where I haven't missed a day of exercise in like 18 years. It's coming up on the 18-year anniversary soon. Maybe it was 19 years even. Was there a time where you went like 1 year straight that you could think of where you just didn't miss a workout at all?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I can.
And this is actually a two-part question. And then on the flip side, with the exception of surgeries and like being forced to take days off, what was the longest you went without exercise in those 50 years? So let's answer that, both of those questions.
5 days.
5 days as long as you went without?
Yeah, and that was due to surgery.
Okay.
And after the surgeries, different surgeries, you got to do different things.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about my shoulder surgeries. I was out and walking, all taped up the third day after my surgery.
Well, I do recall being around for some of those surgeries. And you're like, hey, you want to go for a walk? I'm like, yeah, are you okay to go? back in like 2012, 13, somewhere around there, I remember. And the longest you've gone consecutive days in a row, how long would you say that was? Without missing
Years.
Really?
Yeah, years.
Okay,
I
figured.
I don't keep track the way you do.
Yeah.
I work out every day, 7 days.
That's what I thought.
Every day.
Yeah.
And unless there's some calamity, which is surgery related, I work out every day. And it doesn't matter whether I'm home or I'm traveling. If I'm traveling, I schedule what I call David's time. It's a block of time throughout the day built around my schedule that nobody interferes with. I don't have my phone. I don't take a call. I don't take a text. That's my time to take care of my health.
That's fantastic. I would definitely make note of that piece of advice right there for all of you listening at home and watching. Look at workouts and exercise. If you really take your health seriously, schedule your workouts in as if they're important business meetings, and don't let anyone stop that block of time that you have set aside every single day. Make it a priority. That's how you do it. In order to age gracefully and really reverse the aging process and do all these things we talk about nowadays, biohacking and all these things, you've got to take a personal interest in your health, and you have to do what other people are not willing to do. Avoid, like late night eating, excessive alcohol intake, processed carbs, those kind of things, and skipping workouts. It's non-negotiables. If you want to live healthy, be spry, be flexible, and be strong well into your 60s, 70s, and more, you have to be willing to make sacrifices, and you have to be willing to go beyond the comfort zone. And that's exactly what you're describing right there.
Yeah. And, I would say this, Kevin, exercising is my comfort zone. I receive a lot of benefits from it. Primarily, a relaxation, knowing that I'm taking care of myself. It provides a calmness, for me that, or you could say a drug, you could say addiction, you could say OCD. It doesn't matter. Every day, I feel good after I exercise.
And you feel it has a major benefit to your brain health too, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing we often overlook as well, much like we overlook stretching, we as the general public. We don't look enough at brain health and the importance of being mentally focused, happy, and have our mood in a good place every single day. If you're in a bad mood, if you wake up in a bad mood, are you going to want to go to the gym? Perhaps not, probably not. You're going to want to just lay in bed and sleep all day. But I promise you this, if you can get beyond that comfort zone right there and that barrier and force yourself to get to the gym and do even 30 minutes of anything, you're going to feel 10 times better than when you got there. I promise you.
Along the lines of what Kevin's saying, believe it or not, my grandmother, my father's mother, was very into physical fitness, exercising, and nutrition. And she always said as kids, something is better than nothing. And she was the one who bought us jump ropes, little dumbbells. She had a pull-up bar at her home. We'd do pull-ups on. If we couldn't quite pull herself up, she'd hit us with a switch. I don't have to hurt, but just say, pull yourself up. And, there's nothing that makes me feel, every morning when I get up, I can't wait to go work out. It's just like, all right, let's get after it.
Yeah.
And because I know I'm going to feel good.
What kind of strength training exercises do you do? And what advice do you have for people that are up in the 50, 60 year range and higher that want to maintain strength? Are there any key exercises that you do or that you suggest?
The list is so long, probably, I'd say this. I don't lift heavy weights because of the surgeries I've had. But the lighter weights, getting back to Kevin's motto, less is more. Introducing, whether you're standing on a Bosu ball, whether you're standing on a balanced disc, do your weight activities on those, because the activity of engaging your microstabilizers to keep yourself stable will also, it's great for your microstabilizers and, doing whatever your weight you are on those type of devices, but it also puts you in a position where you can't lift as much. And I think if you try to lift too much, at least my experience is, an injury can come from that. And I like the diversity of, when I'm doing the weight training, try to find something I can do on a Bosu ball, a balanced disc, anything like that. Just interject that element of instability, which enhances the quality of the workout.
And that is another good point you brought up, which is balance, which is another thing we don't think about, we disregard. And when you listen to these asshat influencers out there on YouTube and Facebook, and the list goes on, that throw Bosus under the bus and discs, and they say they're worthless, they're crap, they don't build strength, and they're completely just trying to get clicks. But there's a time and place for everything out there. Bosu included gliding discs as well.
Yes.
But the balanced discs as well. They're not meant to be standing on them trying to do maximal load exercises. They're like a core device. They're used for cardio and core. And if you flip the Bosu over and stand on the flat side, I don't use the dome side for balance drills predominantly. And you're using light weights. The idea is not to gain raw strength, brute strength, power, and all these other things. It's never the intention. And I saw this stupid influencer, I'm not calling him out by name, making fun of the Bosu in a video that I watched a few weeks ago, saying how worthless the Bosu is, and you're never going to build strength. It's all barbells. It's barbells. He's this big, bulky bodybuilder type dude. And it kills me when these people are out there giving bad advice to people. This advice is great. Dave has good posture. Dave has good balance. Dave doesn't want to break his hip. He doesn't want to fall. So what is he doing? He's doing all the right things. He's working on his balance. He's using light weights. He's moving light weights through isotonic exercises and stuff like that. And he's doing a wonderful job keeping himself healthy. And that's the key right there. That's the key to longevity. It's not listening to these people that say you've got to lift your body weight times 2 off the ground in deadlifts and all these other things. Just know what your limitations are as far as an injury perspective is concerned, and then go from there. But to scale it back one more notch, you're saying your strength training workouts predominantly are more core and balance focused, would you say?
Core, balance focused.
Because I see you in there doing, and I see you doing all those cool plank variations.
Yeah, I
and side
do
planks
the planks that you've taught me to do, side planks. It's just anything that engages the core. And you want to keep your muscle tone. I'm never going to be big, and I over 70, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And but the stability,
so
the balance.
There's no ego lifting.
No ego lifting.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit about how much weight I lift. I want to be able to, be doing something, but ideally be on a Bosu ball, be on a balance disc, and be engaging all my micro stabilizers.
Okay.
Because, look, as we get older, it's called a spade. Falling, that's a big risk. And as we do age, as for any of you who are aging, as we get older, our micro stabilizers, unless they're exercised, lose their ability to react instantly to when we start to tumble or fall, and then people go down. So every day I want to be like, firing those babies up by standing on a Bosu ball, standing on a balance disc, doing a variety of light weights, and working on my balance and working on my strength.
Okay, that is very sage advice, Dave. Thank you for all of that. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to shift gears, and I want to start talking about your diet and what it looks like. When did you start taking healthy eating seriously? Was it 50 years ago? Did you always eat healthy? Was it, did you used to drink a lot? Did you eat late at night? Did you eat junk food? Did you go through all those phases? And like one day you just felt like crap and you decided to clean things up? What did that journey look like?
For reasons I can't quite explain, I've always been a healthy eater.
Okay.
I don't like junk food.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been to a fast food restaurant since maybe high school.
Wow, that's impressive. And you don't have a sweet tooth either, really.
I don't have a sweet tooth.
Because I'm always one eating sweets.
And, so I fruits, vegetables, lean meats if I eat meat. Mm-hmm. I prefer that,
mm-hmm.
And when I worked, I used to travel a lot. And I'll just say this, not directly related, for any of you who travel, you know what? I've traveled with a lot of people who gained weight and they said, I can't work out. I can't, deal with my diet because I'm traveling all the time. I have to tell you, that's bullshit.
Yes.
Because when you travel, you can order whatever you want.
Yep.
Whatever size you want, you can share a plate with somebody or don't do it. And it's all about self-control. And like I said, earlier in the video, I always schedule when I'm home or away, David's time every day for my workouts. And sometimes I can't do the full thing when I want to when I'm traveling, but you know what? An hour a day is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. Tell me about your current daily diet, what it looks like. How often do you eat? And do you follow any specific, do you follow vegan? Do you follow paleo? Do you do carnivore? Do you do any of these diet plans that are out there and kind of popular right now? And do you do any fasting or have you done any fasting?
Well, to answer your question, Kevin, no.
Okay.
A lot of my, my nutrition foundation is really developed over time, and you've had the biggest influence on that, as we've talked about. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But sometimes I eat meat, not every day, maybe twice a month.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not much at all.
My main meal of the day is...
when you say meat, do you mean like you only eat any meat twice a month, or just red meat specifically?
Red meat.
Red meat, okay.
Yeah.
Like twice a month?
Maybe once a week I'll have chicken or something like that, But I'm not I don't follow a diet, if that's what you're asking.
So you don't follow like vegan or lacto-ovo-vegetarian or carnivore, any one of those fancy, trendy words?
No, I don't.
So you basically eat everything?
I see food, I eat food.
Okay, got it.
That's what it comes down to. But, I am mindful of when I eat, how much I eat, and, always looking at that my primary meal of the day is my morning shake and the ingredients that go into that.
And your shakes are epic. And my first meal of the day, I like to think is epic, but your shake is pretty doggone impressive in my opinion. And I want to go into the deeper minutia of that and tell me what is like the nucleus of your shake. Talk a little bit about some of the things you put in there. And then after you do that, we're going to actually show you some things that Dave puts in his shake, and he's going to explain how he makes it and what he does.
Well, I got to say, NutriBullet.
That's your best friend?
That's my best friend. Hold it up to the camera.
Show it to him.
NutriBullet. You can't go wrong.
I had a NutriBullet once before I met Jen, and it was my go-to as well. I loved it. You just put your stuff in there and you just go push down on it, and away it goes.
Kevin introduced me to the NutriBullet.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
and
great.
The other thing I love about NutriBullet, portion control.
Yeah.
Don't fill above this line. There's a big line here. And so,
Yeah, but what if you put like 5 tablespoons of almond butter in there, and then you put in like protein with all these other things? You could fill it to that line and have like a 2,000 calorie shake.
You can, okay?
And
you
like
could.
whole milk and stuff.
But before I got the NutriBullet, I used to use a big blender.
The big industrial size blenders?
There was probably as many calories in there as a Thanksgiving dinner, And the NutriBullet is very convenient. For me, it's portion control, and but yeah, this is the foundation. Every morning, I make a shake when I get home from the gym.
Okay, and then do you just drink it all in one big gulp, or how do you do that?
I basically consume the shake over an hour to an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
And then that is my primary meal of the day. Later on in the afternoon, I might have an apple with some peanut butter on it, or some raw almonds or raw pistachios, or some dried fruit, but to hold me over till I go to dinner. But my primary meal of the day comes from my NutriBullet.
Okay, we're going to do a Quentin Tarantino here. We're going to come back to the shake because I want to show you exactly what Dave puts in the shake, because I want you guys to be educated on some of the things that we're not going to say you need to put this stuff in your shakes, but these are just some of the key elements and ingredients that Dave puts in his, and we've discussed this over the years since I've known him. But I want to know, after your shake, you go to the gym, you work out, you come home, you have your shake. What happens next? What's like your next meal, and when after that?
Well, I don't really have a specific time for my next meal.
Okay, when you start
I'll
feeling
eat when
hungry?
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'll usually cut that hunger with an apple. Slice up an apple.
So you have a snack?
And put some. Yeah, I have a snack. I put some peanut butter on it or something like that.
Why do you put peanut butter on an apple?
Oof.
I know the answer, but
I love the taste combination.
It is a good taste combination, but there's a very specific benefit to doing that.
Do tell.
If you eat carbohydrates by themselves, even if it's an apple, which is kind of high in fiber and it's got water content, and it can fill you up a little bit, it's going to cause a pretty good spike in blood sugar. But when you pair it with protein and healthy fats, it's going to slow the glycogen spike up, and you're not going to get as much of a pancreas explosion of insulin. So you should always have your carbs with protein and a healthy fat combined together. It's always about balance in the end. Remember that, folks. And even if you just have protein by itself, it'll still spike your blood sugar to a point where it'll get an insulin release. And you should always try to focus on balance.
Well, now I feel even better about my afternoon snack.
That's fantastic. So you have your snack, then you start getting hungry again, and you have dinner.
Yeah. We usually, prepare a meal, starting at 5:30, eat by 6:30, and be done. And it's not a big heavy meal. It's usually fruit, vegetables, salad.
Okay, what did you have for dinner last night? Give us an example.
What did I have for dinner last night?
I know sometimes we have to think about it.
Okay, no problem. I made it. I know exactly what I had.
Okay.
I had some shredded chicken that I had cooked in the oven earlier in the week. I made roasted potatoes and roasted cauliflower with olive oil drizzled on them and some gluten-free everything bagel seasoning.
That sounds amazing. Now, before we get back to the ingredients of your shakes, one last question on diet. Alcohol intake, yes or no? And if it's no, how long has it been no? If it's yes, how much is it? And how long have you been drinking over the years?
Yeah.
And what effect do you feel it does or doesn't or did or didn't have on your workouts too? I want to know that.
Okay. Well, a few things on that. I do drink occasionally, and some would say more than occasionally. I usually have 3 alcohol-free days a week.
Okay.
You know, I enjoy having the alcohol-free days, but I like the routine or habit of having a drink while I'm preparing dinner. I don't drink to excess. You know, I'll have a glass of bourbon and then a glass of wine with dinner. And, you know, look, I'm telling you right now, I do that 4 days a week. To answer your question, I think my workouts are better on the days I don't drink. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm very in tune with that. In my family, there are the genes for alcoholism. So I was raised as a young kid by both my mother and father warning that this is a genetic, it's a gene pool thing. So I've always been, you know, very cautious of, you know, consuming too much alcohol. Like, oh my gosh, do I have these genes in me? And will it awake the demon? And so, you know, that's always been on my mind. But you know, look, you were sitting here and I do have a drink. Yeah, 4 days a week.
Okay.
And, but the other thing is, knowing I have to get up at 4:30, that chokes off carrying on because I want to be able to get up, say to myself, let's get after it. And I don't want to have any, you know, too much of a residual, you know, what happened the night before type thing.
What do you feel the effects are if you drink even a little bit in excess? But what you described that's called moderation. 2 drinks a day for a male. I would say that's safe. If I wouldn't go too much farther past that, if any of you are listening out there, when it comes to alcohol, especially if you want to try to maintain muscle, maintain strength, the whole 9 yards, the more alcohol you drink, I'm going to have a separate video on alcohol eventually, but just not right now. I'll just give you a quick little lowdown. It is very destructive to muscle mass, to testosterone, all the key things that you need to age gracefully. It just takes it away, robs you of that. When you drink in excess, what Dave drinks is not excess. That's called moderation. And I wouldn't go too much farther down the road than you do right now.
No, and you know, moderation is getting back to everything we're talking about today.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's about, you know, exercising, stretching, nutrition, it's a lifestyle. Moderation is a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And again, the guardrails can be very wide, but if you stay within those guardrails, you know, you're going to live a long and healthy life.
Okay. Now we're going to get down to the key ingredients that Dave puts in his shakes, and then he's going to talk about how he goes about whipping them together. And we're gonna get to that in 2 seconds. Okay, we are at the supplement buffet table, let's call it that. And as Dave mentioned before, we have had many in-depth conversations over the years about the good, the bad, and the ugly of supplements and what to use and whatnot. And I have a couple videos of my own where I've done smoothie bowls and smoothies and stuff. But Dave, I want you to talk more in depth about what exactly do you put in your shake and how long would you say it takes you to even make the shake? We don't look at that very often, but for me, it takes a little bit of while to make some of my things because I have so many things going on. But what are some of these things on this table right here? Like, this is a big pile of stuff here. Kind of looks like my supplement blend as well. But just run through some of the things you use in your shakes and start with the liquid you use for your shake.
Okay, well, I have colitis, so I stick to about a 90% dairy-free diet. So the core ingredient is either oat milk or soy milk. You know, for it, and plant-based yogurt. If I
you're not afraid of soy, like a lot of people are fear mongers when it comes to soy.
I'm not. I've had no issues with it. Okay. And I alternate. You know, some of the ingredients every day. Like one day I'll have soy, one day I'll have oat. You know, and back and forth on that. I always have a plant-based yogurt, tablespoon or 2 in my yogurt. And then, you know, some frozen fruit, whether it's dark sweet cherries, blueberries or mixture, and half a fresh banana every day goes in my shake. That's the kind of the basis
that's the nucleus.
that happens. Yeah, that's the nucleus, yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about all this stuff.
Yeah, okay. So we have 3 rows here to your audience.
I see that.
And the center row is stuff that I put in my shake every day. The outer rows are basically, this would be my vegan day, my vegan shake, where there's absolutely, nothing in it that
that's animal related?
Yeah, that's animal related. That's correct.
Is that part of your dietary diversity protocol?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's great.
And plus, I think it's also good, as I said, with respect to your exercise routine, to mix it up with respect to your supplement and dietary routine. So on my kind of vegan shake days, I'll use maca powder. I use ginger. I use cacao powder. I don't pronounce it correctly.
Cacao.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I'll use any number of plant-based protein powders, usually alternating between Cachava or
which I just turned him on to Cachava, by the way. It's very good stuff. I like
and Earth Chimp. So that is for my vegan days. I'm going to switch over here to this outer circle, and then on my non-vegan days, I start with a Biochem whey protein powder. Vanilla is my favorite flavor. I also will add
cacao nibs.
Cacao nibs. I apologize. I have a New Jersey speech impediment. Okay. I also use cinnamon on those days, and then I take a tablespoon of coconut oil, and I just put it in my mouth while I'm kind of getting the ingredients together and let it dissolve in my mouth.
That's an interesting tactic. Do you ever do oil pulling with coconut oil?
I don't. I haven't tried it yet. How's that?
Well, you put it in your mouth and just swish it for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, I don't do it for 5 or 10 minutes, but I'll leave it in there for a minute or two and let it turn into a liquid and
then you swallow it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, oil pulling, you swish it for like 5 to 10 minutes, then you spit it out.
Okay.
It helps with your gums and your teeth and makes them whiter and kills bacteria and stuff like that.
I'll try that.
Okay.
And now we're going to go to the center line, okay?
Yeah.
These are supplements that I take every day and put in. These are the core foundations that.
So they oscillate back and forth.
They oscillate. We're this line and that line every other day, right here every day.
So these are your dietary diversity days. You go back and forth, and then you add all these in.
Yeah, these are the core ingredients. It starts with, these are not in particular any order.
Mucuna pruriens. That's good for hormone optimization for males.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I apologize for my speech impediment. I also use creatine every day.
Liposomal creatine, which has cofactors in it that help with the absorption.
Recently, I've been trying the Herbal Magic.
Oh, that's cool. This is a company called Nature Zempic Herbal Mate.
And I've added that. It's added a nice taste and diversity to my shake, and it's become a key part of the ingredient.
They also have that also has pre and probiotics in it, so it's good for gut health.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I also, for inflammation, take
Guanabana.
Guanabana. If you could pronounce that, go for it.
Guanabana, also known as soursop. It's good for inflammation and it's a powerful antioxidant as well. If you ever heard about that on the streets.
And look, as we get older, anything we could do to fight, inflammation is a good thing. And then also take bitter apricot kernels.
Okay.
They go actually a nice combination with the coconut oil.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe too much information. Take 3Ds, put them in there, and then put in that right after.
Oh.
Kind of mix them together in there.
Yeah, that'll numb the bitterness of the apricot kernel for sure. Yeah.
And then also bee pollen every day.
Great, love it.
In my shakes. Also golden milk every day in my shakes. And very importantly, collagen every day in my shakes as well.
So you choose to use collagen powder?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. There's a lot of hype going on nowadays about the ineffectiveness of collagen. People are saying, oh, it's bunk, it doesn't help with anything, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. I firmly believe it does. I feel it helps with my recoveries, helps my muscles recover faster. I was doing a really intense kettlebell training protocol last month. Remember I showed you my hands were all pulverized?
They were a mess.
They looked like hamburger meat, but they healed really quickly and my skin felt really pliable and strong. And I feel a definite effect on my nails and my skin when I do collagen, and my, luckily, knock on wood, inflammation is pretty low, and I don't experience a lot of joint pain or anything like that. And I feel my recoveries from my workouts have accelerated. And I've been using collagen for way longer than it's been a popular thing. And the key thing with collagen, and I tell people this all the time, is if you're going to use it, make sure it's clean, make sure it has type 1 and 3 peptides in it, and it has vitamin C in it as well. And if it doesn't have vitamin C, take vitamin C with your collagen. That's one of the key things. And a lot of companies will bamboozle you and say, oh, we have types 1 through 5 and blah, 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 and all this fancy stuff. And that's fine and dandy. Just make sure they have no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners in there, and make sure it has a minimum of type 1 and 3 peptides in it, and make sure they have vitamin C with it. It helps with absorption.
And so anyway, that's kind of my shake, mixing and matching menu here.
Okay.
The center line is every day. We have the non-vegan
side
option
over here,
and then we have the vegan side over there.
Okay, so you go to the gym, you come home, you blend all this up, you have your coconut oil, and then you drink your shake in about an hour and a half. Do you feel your appetite is stabilized for several hours afterward? Or do you feel, you feel it holds you over?
No question about it.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. That's because it's probably it's because it's a good balance of protein, carbs, and fat from what I see here. And that's what you always want to aspire to do when you're eating. Now, you mentioned before you don't really do fasting, but what would you say your daily schedule is? You have your shake, then you have your apple snack, and then you have dinner, and then you're done, right? That's it.
I'm done.
So you do kind of follow loosely a time-restricted eating protocol, I would say.
Except for dinner, where it's also social time, to sit down with my, better half and kind of chat about one another's day. I'll eat when I'm hungry, but not when I won't eat when I'm not hungry.
Okay.
And when I get a pang of hunger, as I mentioned, the apple snack with the peanut butter, or just a couple pieces of dried fruit, some figs or dates, and just take that nagging little, hunger away.
And Renee, your wife, does follow a time-restricted eating protocol.
She swears by intermittent fasting after the advice and training you gave her on that and instructions over 10 years ago. She, after dinner, does not eat another meal until usually 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock the next day.
That's a good push.
Period.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And that's helped her gut a lot, hasn't it?
It's made a world of difference in her internal issues. Let's just say that.
That's fantastic. All right, if I was to tell you you're only allowed to pick 3 things off this table that you're allowed to have every day, I want you to tell the people what you think the most 3 important things are from your whole supplement cocktail here, your buffet of supplements.
Well, Kevin, picking 3 out of all this here is tough, but
yeah, that would be a hard question for me to answer, to be honest.
I would take a plant-based protein powder.
Okay.
I would take collagen, and I would take golden milk.
Okay.
If somebody said you pick 3 and that's it, those would be the 3 I would pick.
So that combination would supply you with the protein you need, and you would get the nutrients in your system that would preferably and hopefully reduce the risk of inflammation, which causes basically all conditions that are bad, even brain issues as well. And that would also satisfy your needs for muscle maintenance too, in my opinion, too.
Yeah,
because of the protein and the collagen and stuff. Yeah. Last thing, I just want you to do a quick recap of what we talked about so far on your key tenets for aging gracefully and longevity from everything we spoke about.
Well,
if you were to give people like 3 good take-home messages, what would they be?
Yeah, as I mentioned, when we began today's video, my 3 pillars are stretching and core, which I do in the morning, getting up early, usually 4:30, doing that every day. Going to the gym, doing some, weight training, swimming, or riding the spin bike, and then the nutrition side of things. And I do have to say to your audience, look, I am over 70. I feel great. I have stamina. I love what I do, working out. And, I'll joke with Kevin, I'll have my primary workout in the morning, but typically speaking, I'll do another mini workout later in the day, whether I go for a walk, whether I do some light weights, whether I get on the Bosu or the stability discs, anything to, just keep my body engaged throughout the day. But I feel, great. And as we said earlier, the randomness of life could touch any of us at any time. But, I'm going to do the best I can to take care of myself using those 3 pillars: stretching, exercise, and nutrition. And like all of you out there, we all want to live a long, healthy, life.
Dave, thank you very much for taking the time
Kevin,
to talk to me today.
Been
Really
a great
appreciate it.
20-year relationship.
Great, fantastic. Thank you so much. Make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And also hit that little bell indicator so you're always informed when I release a new video. Dave, this is how we close out. We got to give it a flex.
All right, everybody. Not quite like Kevin's.
Till next time.
See you later.